The vision actually that informed the industrialization of Nasarawa state came as a result of a study that was carried out even before I became a governor.
Nasarawa, the rise of a new investment frontier.
The land of our pride, home of
When we came up with this idea of the Nasarawa Investment Development Strategy. And the idea about that also was encouraged more by the first advisory council of people who have that kind of knowledge of industrialization.
Nasarawa State, a state now defined by performance. Over the past 7 years, a deliberate journey has unfolded, driven by leadership, guided by reform, and powered by results. Under the leadership of engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, the focus was clear: to create an environment where businesses don't just arrive, but thrive.
Land of promise we thrive. Nasarawa, where
Through the strategic coordination of the Nasarawa Investment and Development Agency, NASIDA, barriers were reduced, processes simplified, and investor confidence strengthened. From land administration reforms to transparent fiscal systems, from streamlined regulations to investor-friendly policies, Nasarawa aligned itself with global best practices.
These key reforms have been catalytic. They have improved the flow of investments into the state, as you will see from the statistics, from the springing up of businesses all across the state. And this has also almost tripled the state's GDP from a $3 billion economy to a $12 billion economy.
Through transformative initiatives like the State Action on Business Enabling Reform SABR, the state performed, meeting over 22 critical reform benchmarks, unlocking results-based financing and positioning itself among top 10 reform-driven states in Nigeria.
Nasarawa State is currently one of the most peaceful states to do business in Nigeria. Our traditional institutions continue to be the backbone upon which this peaceful coexistence is enjoyed. And where there is no peace and security, there can never be any sustainable investment. So these are the Nasarawa advantage, and I dare say that they make Nasarawa State stand out. Most recently, we were recognized as one of the top most competitive states in Nigeria to do business.
The results are undeniable. Over $2.7 billion in investments attracted, about 40,000 jobs created. Infrastructure developed, industries established, communities empowered. But beyond the numbers lies something greater: confidence. Confidence from investors who came, saw the opportunity, and established.
We were only restricted to Doma local government area in 2012, but now our businesses are in most of the portion of the Nasarawa state. It has been possible because of the policies which have been over a period of time streamlined in favor of the businesses and the development of community. Where you can say a visionary leader like Engineer A. Abdullahi, our executive governor, he has been here at the helms for about, you can say, 7 years. So the major improvement which I see has happened in the last 6-7 years, where the policies in consultation with the business houses, in consultation with the communities, which have moved towards a sustainable growth, not only for businesses, but as well as the government and as well as the community.
When we were looking for raw materials and we had a serious challenge And we run back to the government, and immediately they were very responsive. They put up the team to work together with us to see how those problems can be resolved. So this is something you cannot easily find elsewhere. But in Nasarawa State, it's just like a family. You just walk in and they are there to respond. I'm in Nasarawa State, but I feel more like as if this is my home, because the way I am received here and the way they respond to every of my needs, every things that the company needed to grow. You can see the hunger within the state that they really need an investor. And that is why I am glad that I never made a mistake coming to Nasarawa State.
Nasarawa have good policy, even the good that security. Even for us, for investor for Nasarawa, and the government, he is very support to us because he want investors in Nasarawa. So that is and why our company from China invest here, because firstly here have that good resources, and also is have good retail for here.
From agriculture to mining, to manufacturing and energy, a new economic identity is emerging.
We've walked all around Nigeria, and I must confess, Nasarawa State, in terms of working environment, it's as pleasant as can be relative to other locations we work. You realize that we have to do mining, which means we have to go to the remote locations to work. We have to work on new lands that are owned by indigenous people. In terms of finding people that are compliable to allowing visitors to come and work, being able to quarry on people's own farms, and obviously the style of governance here, and I mean the government agents that actually service the Nasarawa state government and deal with the business people. I believe in my mind that Nasarawa is the easiest location I've done business in Nigeria.
If you see from 2017, my past encounter with Lafia to today, I can see the massive change which has happened in Lafia as a city, if you ask me honestly. I've seen Lafia from very, very close corners, and that shows that the state is thinking progressively. And if a state is thinking progressively, they will definitely provide you enabling environment towards your business. So that basically attracted us. And our first interaction with the Honorable Governor of the state was also very, very positive. And if I compare it to a couple of other states where we operate, Nasarawa stands some steps ahead of them as far as government policy and the implementation of policies there. That is what attracted us to come to Nasarawa state. And till date, there is no regret why we came to Nasarawa state.
So we want to establish a very large refinery, sugar refinery, that is with the capacity to crush and process 18,000 tons of cane per day. That will now later be expanded to 27,000 TCD refinery. The whole idea, we want to start with 18,000 TCD refinery. When you look at 18,000, compared to the 3,800 that we have in Numan, that is almost about 800. When you look, it's almost about 600 times bigger. But that is only the phase one. Then we are also going to continue. Immediately we completed the phase one, then we go into directly. We are not going to wait. Then we quickly move into phase two.
This is a story of a state that has chosen to rise. Transformation is not defined by what is promised, but by what is delivered.
First, investor is looking at the safety of the investment. Secondly, an investor is looking at the return on investment. If I invest in this, will I be able to get my return back? Thirdly, investor wants to find if there are raw materials. These are the key ones before now we go into infrastructure. Investor wants to find out the cost of production is as minimum as possible, so there is no exorbitant cost of power, for it. There is water availability. There are roads, to the area also. So when we came, we concentrated in some of those areas. An investor wants to know if there are potentials, for people who are going to work there, and they are competent and qualified people, who will also take ownership of the project. Investor is looking for a safe environment where the communities around the investment are going to take ownership of the investment. So those are the kinds of things we look around, and that's why we provided the ones that we believe government should provide. For instance, every one of our investment sites, we make sure there is road, to the area. There is water to the area.
We have a teeming youth population that is intellectually curious and also quite skillful, with also the springing up of several vocational institutes that the governor has championed and pioneered himself. Notably is the Wing Commander Abdullah Ibrahim Vocational Institute that continues to train young people with technical skills in their thousands. So that is also an advantage, because any business coming into an environment will have to think about the manpower, the skill set that are required to power those industries.
Across Nasarawa State, the results speak in thriving businesses, in expanding industries, and in lives being changed.
We've created a lot of jobs. Most of our unskilled labor come from the community. Most of our artisans come from the community. A lot of minor subcontractors that do jobs that we know the community can handle, we do subcontract to them. So it has created hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs over the course of the years that the project has been running. And we source materials also locally. The materials that we can get locally, we source locally from the community. So it's a very vibrant project that has created thousands or hundreds of jobs.
We have 82 staff right now, and all of them live within 2 kilometers of this location. So we can be proud to say that we've added 82 people who are earning salaries into the local economy. When we hit capacity for phase 1, we'll have 500 staff. And when you have 500 staff, other services will now come in.
Currently, we have provided hundreds of jobs to the locals in terms of both direct and indirect employment. We have a cane plantation, which we call the nursery, whereby we planted initially 60 hectares, then we increased it to 600 hectares. We have a lot of people that are the irrigators, we have the planters, we have so many people under the agri that are taking care of this. We have the engineering department, we have the land development department that are currently clearing the land. As of today, we have cleared almost about 10,000 hectares of land. And when you look at this, you look at the number of equipments required, the number of resources, both skilled and unskilled. So we have a lot of people that we have actually provided employment to.
Each one of these investments, we ensure that the people living around the area are the biggest beneficiaries of employment. And then again, take Avatar for instance. Avatar has roughly about 500 local people working inside the factory at the moment. The same thing with Gafen. Gafen, right now, they are having more than 500 people living in that. And let us even start from home. They say charity begins at home. In our own facility, our own agricultural investment in Jangwa and Away, we ensure that the over 500-600 people that we employed in the area, both for fertilizer application, for weeding, for planting, and for the rest of that, they are all people either from Jangwa, Angwa Tashi, Ayakeke, and basically both Awe and Obi local government areas. So you will say 95% of the people working are from that kind of area. So the benefits they have is not just about income based on employment. The benefits that I was happy to see is the fact that they have now acquired skills. Some of them couldn't drive harvesters, now they can drive harvesters. Some of them couldn't drive, tractors, now they can drive tractors. We went to the extent of repairing tractors, some of them could repair tractors, things like that. So those were the things that I'm happier with.
A state that reformed its systems, strengthened its institutions, and opened its doors to the world. With institutions like the Nasarawa Investment and Development Agency providing clarity, structure, and support, investors are not just welcome, they are empowered. Investment is no longer a risk, it is a reality.
We have the laws that are in place. Another person will not come tomorrow and just tell them, we don't want your investment. The law will protect them, that we have. We have already established, actually also right now you have the multi-door courthouse, where such issues, are being resolved. And it happens to be in the same building with where Nasida is.
Never will you find a state in the country in recent times that has enjoyed the kind of leadership, elite leadership and political consensus around its growth trajectory like we have in Nasarawa. So all across political interest groups, our leaders have agreed that the pathway to our progress is that we need more investments, and these investments must be allowed to flourish. So there wouldn't be any political risk doing business in Nasarawa State because our leaders are all aligned.
来到拉萨拉瓦投资，这里有10几年了，也很喜欢这个地方。这个地方也是一个经济的枢纽，后期的发展会更好。我们也希望把我们的公司打造的属于拉萨拉瓦地区的第一，甚至尼日利亚的第一。不管是做生意，或者说招商引资也好。这里的人更有亲和力，更亲切，交流起来接触，不管是接触交流，都让我感觉到很舒服。
From transparent systems to streamlined processes, from responsive governance to strong public-private partnerships, every reform tells one story: that Nasarawa is ready for industry, ready for innovation, ready for global investment.
Well, someone looking to invest in Nasarawa, come. But we are there, and we are there for as long as we have been, because there's an enabling environment of policy or regulation that is supporting investment, right? We have a pro-investment government. The appetite has been clear from the beginning, and they've backed that up, right, with the various incentives, the various policy support that we needed, right? Nasarawa today, if I'm going to use horse business, for example, has the largest number of mini-grids deployed anywhere else in Nigeria, right? And there's a policy environment that is even set to not be volatile based on political dynamics, right? Because it's more like something that's already been entrenched into the ethos of the business climate in Nasarawa State. So Nasarawa is a state that is pro-investment. It's a state that you can scale. It's a state that you get the required regulatory and policy support to do what you want to do and to deploy it at scale. So come and invest. Nasarawa is one of the states in Nigeria that is on the right direction. And if you align, you obviously see a return for your investment.
Nasarawa is ready for business. Come to Nasarawa State and invest.
To investors across the world, this is your invitation. Come to where reforms are real, where opportunities are proven, and growth is already happening. Invest in Nasarawa State.